Calgary Stampeders quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell opened up in a recent Saskatchewan radio interview saying that retirement very well could be the next step for him after two injury hampered seasons. How much more gas do you think the 32-year-old has left in the tank?
Well, we're going to find out. I definitely think there is gas left in that proverbial tank for Bo Levi Mitchell, but he's being honest. And this is what he's been throughout most of his career as he's risen to star status in the CFL. He's said what's on his mind for the most part, even though it seems to rub especially Saskatchewan Roughrider fans the wrong way. So we're going to see. Bo Levi Mitchell talked about recommitting himself, wanting to make sure that his shoulder was on point. But when you have these injuries, as much as you train and you rehab and you work out and you prepare for the season, it's hard to sometimes get over what's been sustained to your body in the past. So I'm real curious to see what Bo Levi Mitchell can do with a full training camp. Preseason we'll probably see him a little bit. I certainly don't think that can hurt, but especially without him playing a season after breaking his leg in week one. Like, I feel like that goes under the radar a little bit. And people talk about him leading the league in interceptions. But think of any of us, how we would deal with a broken leg and how long it would take us to recover. Well, yeah, Mitchell was out a little bit, but he came back and played on that. So the fact that he's had now a full off season to heal from that injury, hopefully get his body back balanced again so he can get throwing on plane and be letting some of those lasers go that we're used to seeing from Bo Levi Mitchell, especially in his prime, then I certainly think he's still capable of being an elite guy and leading the Calgary Stampeders to potential Grey Cup. And clearly John Hufnagel and Dave Dickinson feel so as well.
Yeah, I think that Mitchell deserves some credit for having, let's say, the self-awareness to realize that this could be his next step. Because oftentimes professional athletes, I think when it comes to their longevity, lack a little bit of perspective, right? They can see the decline in people around them, players around them as they get older, the competition they play against. But when it comes time to look in the mirror and notice that their game has fallen off, or maybe they've lost a step, a lot of athletes can't do that. So I give Bo credit for that. He has also been, I mean, he's 32, but he's got a lot of mileage for someone who's 32. He doesn't have the biggest frame, and he took more hits last year than I think he ever has before in his CFL career. Now, is that to say that Bo Levi Mitchell's career is done? Of course not. I think he could have a bounce back year provided he's fully healthy. I think he needs to do a bit of a better job avoiding some of those shots that he took in 2021. And I think having that run game that really came to life late last year with Kadeem Carey establishing himself as a star in this league should help. So if Mitchell is approaching the end, I look forward to seeing him on television, because I certainly hope that we get to keep hearing from him when he's done. But I applaud him for at least having this self-awareness and going through this process and being willing to talk about it publicly, because I'm sure there are players who have these thoughts, right, who have these conversations with mentors, friends, family members, people they trust. And I think it's great that he's willing to talk about it publicly and seems to have, not an optimistic or pessimistic view of his long-term future, just a realistic one. And I think being realistic about what you're doing, what you're up against, what you're facing, and what your future might hold is excellent.